circumstance that we're putting in. Almost everything is, from an offensive standpoint, is totally new. And they're grasping it, but it's going to take some time. Really not concentrating on it. They turn it over a lot because I want them to take chances in the style right now. And so we're letting them have some offensive freedom to do that.
What went into your thinking about the defensive style or about the defense?
Well, I thought there's probably been 4 times in my life as a coach, and a few others at the professional level, where we needed to do certain things drastically to have a chance of winning. One was in '87 with Providence, another was my first year in UK, and probably early on here, and now this time. But it's a little bit more dramatic here because of the Big East Conference. So it's fun for the players. It's certainly challenging for them because they don't have a whole lot of substitutes in practice right now. They'll get better in time as we get some substitutes. So it's, I think it'll be exciting for the fans. It's a new building opening, but it'll be exciting for them as well.
Why do you think it did the change? Why this style?
Because we don't have enough talent to overcome some of the obstacles we have right now. So the whole has to be greater than its parts.
What are those obstacles? Talk about what were the obstacles?
Well, we don't have, with Samato leaving, cause Lou off guard and taught me a valuable lesson for the future. We don't have proven scorers right now. So we have to manufacture points with our defense, have to manufacture points with the way we're going to play.
What was the lesson of Samato?
I think just expect, even though you don't think a guy is going to go, don't think it irrationally. Think irrationally and say he's going.
What does this mean? More shots, coach, quicker shots?
It's going to be quick passing. We're going to play with it, but we'll do it today as well. We'll play with a 24-second clock. I'll stop it today if they don't cross half court 3 seconds, make them miss. I'll give the other team the basketball. Probably do it in the scrimmage as well.
We'll get to see him, but Terrence Jennings, how did he come back? That's very happy with what he did.
Yes, he's come back in very good shape, very dedicated. Even though we believe he'll be here 4 years, we're going to expect him to leave. It's like the stock market. You know, I was speaking to a person yesterday who's this Wall Street, who's at the media thing, and he's so low. And I said, boy, the economy's terrible. Why does the stock market keep going up? And he said to me, it's the contrarian view. Whatever, from an intellectual standpoint, whenever you think the stock market's going up, it never will. Whenever you think it's going down, it'll go up. So I'm going to sort of take that advice as far as players leaving and staying.
Coach, you indicated, I thought I heard you indicate that you would be playing more, like even a majority of man-to-man this year.
That is correct. Probably about 75 to 80% man.
With press?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of new defensive techniques to be taught also.
Yeah, we're trying to go slow to these guys because, again, you're going to see it's very difficult to play this style. You're going to like it a lot. You'll really like it. But you're going to say to yourself, God, I'm glad I'm not on that team. He's not getting better. He's going for an MRI today, and he's getting better, but nothing close to playing. Russ Smith will be back before him. No, we're anticipating December 1st. I'm being conservative in my views. The good thing is, you see guys do things in this style that looks much better in certain individuals, like Stephen Van Treese and Mike Mara look much better than they did their freshman year playing this way. And I wouldn't have thought Stephen going into this year that would be the case, but he looks very good. Well, he'll be different than Samato. He's more of a runner, a shot blocker. I'm hoping he'll rebound. You know, I always judge a big guy. If he rebounds 10, 11 a game, that's always the indicator that he's a big-time basketball player for that spot. So I'm hoping TJ will do that.
What about his scoring?
He can score. But it's not something he's consumed with. Samato was consumed with that. he's not consumed with that.
Coach, it's been observed that there are times in games when you will have a quick hook if the kid doesn't do something. Will the kids...
Whose observation is that?
Mine.
You have something?
Will there be more leeway this year with a shorter bench and a style that you might be prone to commit more turnovers?
Yeah, I think it's every coach has things that bother them. And if you emphasize it so much, and you don't do it, then that coach will have a tendency to have a quick hook. Whether it's blocking out or point of emphasis or challenging the three-point shot or sprinting the lanes, whatever it may be. But missing shots is not an avenue for a quick hook with us. And making a mental mistake is not a quick hook. But if you're emphasizing something every single day, you get in games and you don't do it, you probably will get taken out.
Lost a lot of game power the last few years. You lost a lot of guys with a lot of experience. These first few days of practice, who's emerging as, is there a leader or two emerging?
Right now, the white team, which is the second unit, really is playing the system much better than the first unit. So I'll go back to what I said. I don't think this team is going to win on its parts. And I've had teams before that win with the holds, and it's much more pleasing to guys, much better. Last year, I thought we had some definitive parts, but they didn't interact together to be a great basketball team. I think this team interacts very well with each other. I think their attitude's terrific. Their threshold for work is great. I think their desire to pass the basketball is terrific. So I don't think there is, I think just like the Big East this year, I think we're a microcosm of the Big East being a 16. I think that if you look at the Big East this year, and you should also where the rankings are. No, I think that it's pretty true where you rank the teams, but there are no lottery picks at the top. I think the stars in this conference will evolve during the season. Will it be Jeremy Hazel? Will it be Pope? Will it be Preston Knowles? Will it be somebody from Rutgers? Will it be somebody from St. John's? Will it be somebody from Cincinnati? You don't have the stars back, the T-Wolves of the world. It's not that way. So it will be the Syracuse team, which is very big and long. Speaking to Jim yesterday, he seemed to think that the young man that we were recruiting could be a one-and-done basketball player. He's progressed that much. So you don't know who's going to evolve, and that's the same thing with the teams. You don't know which teams are going to evolve, and I think that's a fun thing. I think it's a bridge year for the conference, so to speak. It's the obvious is Pittsburgh and Villanova, but how many lottery picks do you think Pittsburgh will have this year? Maybe they will, but you don't know until that's what's going to make it fun. And we've got to be 3 weeks from now. We've got to be ready for an outstanding team with great experience in Butler. It's only 3 weeks away.
What is the difficulty in sustaining that up-tempo style? Not everybody's going to want to play that way that you're facing. Is there a key over the course of the season to be able to
You got to stay away from injuries, obviously. Foul troubles is a big factor. Even though some teams don't want to play, we'll force them to play that way. We're going to drive it home that you're going to have to beat us at this style.
Yeah, name this style. Your own name.
No, not yet. I think you only get nicknames when you win.
Well, maybe somebody else won with this style.
I'll let you guys think of it after you watch it. Come up with it, I'll endorse it.
All right. Rick, you compared the style of Loyola Marymount, but it seemed like then they were willing to give up a basket.
Yeah, I said Loyola Marymount offensively, but we're going to play defense.
That, well, playing good defense for 30 seconds kind of slows the helter-skelter kind of frantic nature of it, doesn't it?
Well, I'm hoping we don't have to play the defense in 30 seconds. Because we're going to be really up the line. It's going to be a different type of man-to-man defense. We're going to be up the line, switching. Our whole mentality is to make a steal, block a shot. So it's even on defense, we're trying to get on offense. It's that mentality of causing turnovers.
What about the confidence? You mentioned yesterday the humility. It seems like they're going to take their lumps if they figure out this style. Do they believe enough in themselves to get through that?
Well, I hope we don't take our lumps. We're not thinking that way. On paper you may think that way, of course, but I hope we don't. And you'll have to gather that from them. I mean, we have a young man like Elijah Justice. He's a little nervous right now, but no different than Peyton Seaver. Peyton Seaver's a little nervous, even though he'll come across a little bit more confident. But they're nervous. But I see great progress with Bullet, each day. We have 10 players that I have confidence in playing right now. And I don't see a guy other than Preston who maybe separates themselves from the pack. Preston is a little bit because he's been through so many wars and understands the toughness of it. And we got to do a couple things with Preston. We got to keep his weight down. We got to keep him flexible. He runs into problems when he puts on a little weight. If he puts on 3-4 pounds, he starts to have back problems. So we're trying to get him to eat well and trying to get him to keep his weight down. He does that on a terrific year.
And you see Seaver set up his point guard.
He's going to be much better than his freshman year, but he's still going to make mistakes. And I think in the question before about giving a little more leeway, I'll give a little more leeway to Peyton than I will some of the other situations because he's only a sophomore. He's going into a primary role, and he is going to make some mistakes. And you just got to let him get through those mistakes.
Who's the back him on for a few?
Right now, the Bullet's back there.
Is good? Is he healthy?
He's helping us. He's another good surprise.
I mean, because he's shown flashes of block shots.
Yeah, his problem right now, it's the first time he's been under 10% body fat, which is good. So he's running much better. And he can help us. He can rebound block shots, pass, shoot. His problem is in this style is getting up and down the floor. And that's your only, today we'll practice a little bit, then have a full scrimmage. And you'll see it's going to be very difficult, these guys, to get through a full scrimmage. The reason we're doing it today is we've got to do it Sunday in front of 22,000 people. And so we're going to see if our guys can get through it today. It's not going to be easy without a substitute. I feel bad for him. And the front court doesn't have any substitutes at all.
How much time are you spending in this building to practice?
Every chance we get, yesterday we had a practice, and I think the people thought it was open to them because they were on tour and they just all sat down and watched it. So, but it was good. It's good for the guys to play in front of people. And as you'll see, this building is a little overpowering. I've been in every pro arena, and this building is overpowering. It's so steep, and the only gold you see in the thing is the bird's beak on the seats. That's what they put in the blend of that. So it's got all the amenities. You walk out, you never see this in pro arena when you walk out of the locker room. Right, and there's a practice court. You've all seen it, right? You don't see that. Usually if you go to the Wizards, you take an elevator down or you walk down the steps, so you can Seiko is adjacent. So this has been well thought out, the features of this place.
Because in a weird way, as great as a thing as this building is, for the kids, you say it's overpowering, is it going to be almost more pressure on them? You got to perform these people are sharp.
I don't think this team will be, I don't think they'll succumb to pressure. I think this team is probably the most together team we've had in a long time in terms of they know they need each other to perform well. They don't, it's not like Edgar says, I've got to put the pressure on myself to do this, or Samato. This is not that type of basketball team. This team realizes that they're a linked fence, and if one link breaks down, the team breaks down.
But Buckle, last time we talked about, she's very tournament game. Is that a level he can sustain, do you think?
I think he's part of the equation. He's a sophomore. The great thing about this, what I call this bridge year, is that we're going to have 9-10 players back with a great recruiting class coming in. So the reason I'm doing it with this style, even though it may not have the pure numbers right now, is I want them to learn it now, so next year they're veterans at it. But I think they're getting pretty good at it this year. I think you'll see it. You'll be very impressed with what they're doing, I hope.